Oh, yeah.
There you go. So,
I don't care what you say. I still love you, and you're still my one.
yeah, but you're not investing in us. I may get mad, but I move forward and make sure things are happening. You just want the fun. You don't want any of the
The thing I
responsibility.
don't like is you can't see us on the side.
What's going on?
Hey, look, it's Jello.
It's Jello.
This is for you.
What?
Oh my God. Thank you so much.
Word! Hey, it's that time of the year. 4 months of Christmas wishes and empty pockets and decorations and trees up in July. Get ready, guys.
Spaghetti is delicious, my dear.
It is. Thank you for inviting me.
Dang foreigner got a brand new girlfriend, a beauty from Cebu. Met her on the internet, said I love you ×2. She's a quarter of his old age, with a smile so sweet and grand. Now she's got his pension plan clutched tight within her hand. Old foreigner got cleaned out by a scammer, walking home from his condo Christmas Eve. You can say there's no such thing as true love, but as for old mister, he still wants to believe. She'd been drinking fancy cocktails that he was paying, and she begged him for a new phone and a little bit more for her sick and ailing mother and her cousin's leaky roof. But he was blinded by her sweet talk and couldn't see the proof. Old foreigner got cleaned out by a scammer, walking home from his condo Christmas Eve. You can say there's no such thing as true love, but as for old mister, he still wants to believe. Christmas morning at the ATM, a most horrific sight. His bank account was empty in the early morning light. She'd taken all his money and the condo keys to boot. Left a note that said, thanks, sweetie, what a bitter fruit. Now we're all so sad for Grandpa, he's been taking this so hard, sitting there and watching traffic in his empty rented yard. It's not Christmas without money, all his credit cards are black, and we just can't help but wonder, will he ever get it back? Old foreigner got cleaned out by a scammer, walking home from his condo Christmas Eve. You can say there's no such thing as true love, but as for old mister, he still wants to believe. Now the spaghetti and hot dogs on the table, and the pie made with coconut, and the blue and silver parole that were her favorite big. I've warned all my fellow expats, better watch out for yourselves. They'll take you for a sleigh ride with the help of all their elves. Merry Christmas from the Philippines. Watch your wallets, keep them keen. You can say there's no such thing as Santa, but a pretty girl can take you to the cleaners. Merry Christmas.
I may get mad, but nothing.
Merry
All
Christmas. This is for you.
I don't know why this won't go off. There we go.
Oh my God. Thank you so much.
Good morning, guys. Yeah, so you have to bring it on every time. That's crazy. Gotta love this software. Good morning, guys. George
Morning,
is
guys.
having some small garlic nuts this morning. I had them last night.
Salty.
Salty. What's going on, guys? All right. Well, we have a story for you today. We hope everybody is doing good. There. Yeah, maybe. We are going to discuss a story that came out a couple days ago. We're going to tell you guys the information that we have gathered from the internet. We've watched a few interviews from the Ormoc police in regards to this 81-year-old American and his wife, okay, that have been unalived. A very brutal situation. And me and George have some theories. And I want to say, for those that are watching us long term, any trolls, any other channels, or anybody that watches us, this is a group discussion. These are not meant to be based on facts. This isn't a, this is a discussion. This is entertainment purposes. This is not the law. Nobody's been convicted. and all the other crap. As always, we are not the final word. This is just us covering news and things out there. When we cover it, it usually comes from the newspapers, it comes from other people. So these sources are coming through Facebook, other people, through comments. And I thought I would put that out there. So for multiple purposes. So we're going to discuss this situation. So the couple, well, I'll get into the full details here in a little bit. So that's what we're covering today is a American guy that moved here to the Philippines, but it looks like his wife was also a dual citizen and also was employed. I think they actually possibly met at work. They both worked at the same job. So the information that we've gathered was from an interview from a radio station, and then family members have been chatting it up, neighbors have been chatting. So we've been on it for 2 days ever since Alex. I don't think he's called Alex
Yeah,
Abroad.
but-
Is he called Alex Abroad? Yeah,
Yeah, but be aware that we are actually more comprehensive than most.
pretty much. But a lot of the things and information that we get just isn't always secondhand. So it's just a bunch of information. Well, I guess it is technically secondhand if somebody else
Well, yeah,
tells
it would
us.
be secondhand because if
Well,
we're
it's,
firsthand, that'd be concerning.
well, it's not like we just take it because somebody emailed it to us, which tends to happen. But so the radio station put out where the nephew was interviewed, which is quite interesting. The sister of the victim was, and the 81-year-old guy had a brother that's here. So the plot thickens on this one. Today, as always, this is dealing with what not to do here in the Philippines. We had somebody reach out, and we appreciate it, just a few days ago that wanted us to cover just a Filipina that's a teacher online somewhere along that she does those nice videos for guys plus teaching. And I'm like, we don't cover that stuff. If it's dealing with an expat that got ripped off and his bank account got closed down and it's about living here, maybe. It's rare that we just like focus on just the Filipinos. Usually we like to have a little bit more drama and a little bit more juice.
Yeah. By the way, I need the link for that teacher because for
Right.
research purposes,
I'm gonna research purpose you in about a minute. So
Gotta do some research.
pipe down and eat your garlic nuts before I munch on yours. Sucker. What you talking about? I'm about to munch on those garlic nuts here in a minute. So you here, take some of this.
What is that?
I'm now a representative for
Oh,
Chinese moon drops.
What the hell is a Chinese moon drop?
Methanol blue and some sort of mint and Chinese herbs or something.
What is it?
I think they said the methanol blue is for cognitive functions. Allegedly, it's possibly a cure for cancer. They used it during the pandemic. I don't care. I just take them anyways. Them are the ones that's the ones we talked about that supposedly helps your cells and everything.
Yeah.
I don't know. I bought off Lazada. Could just be water and drops of
Yeah, that has crossed my mind. Yes.
a lot of things cross your mind. Stop kicking the table, dude. So okay, so
Tony Manning, what's her link? Right, for research purposes. I mean, you got to be considerate because we're really interested in this research.
Listen, I told you you're a free bird. That's what I was telling you right at the beginning of the
mean,
live stream. You're a free
This teacher
bird,
can teach
and,
us. You know what I'm saying?
we're getting along.
Maybe they're
and
private lessons.
I'm gonna get you a private lesson here in a minute. So I don't know. Isn't that a little bit much on the upgraded to 120? What is that? MP says something about upgraded to 120 laser projector straight on the man cave.
Thanks, MB. Appreciate it, man. We're like on big screen. We're like 120 inches.
Yeah, 120 inches. All right. No, I don't think so. Drink your coffee. Good morning. Tony is in the house. Sarah, good morning.
Hey, Sarah. Hey, Tony.
Yeah, today we wanted to actually discuss everything going on in the Middle East, just not, pro Trump, against Trump, any of these things. It's okay for other channels to cover it, but the moment we mention things going on, things turn south. So we decided to not talk about it, but let's hope things go peaceful for you all there because things are going just fine here. So let's hope that pray for the world that everything comes together and pray for George's garlic nuts. So, so I think we will get into it first. I'm gonna bring up what is going on. So, and tell you a little bit about what we have. Okay. All right. Do you want to control this?
No, it's
While I'm
okay.
talking.
No.
Well, it's hard to talk, and I mean, you're having me do three things. I can't bring up, bring down, and talk the story unless you're going to give the story. So well.
Well, I guess you tell me to hit play or not.
Well, can you hold on? No, you have to.
Yeah, you put it.
You have.
Oh, you want?
I need the story. I need that too.
Well, I thought you were playing it.
Okay, so basically, a senior citizen couple. Never mind. I guess I'm wrong on needing you to do this right now. Senior citizen couple was robbed and unalived in Ormoc City, a heinous crime that shook Sito Talong, Barangay Lilon, in Ormoc City after a couple of senior citizens were found unalived with jabs, okay, inside of their home. And I'm saying the 17th and 18th because the sister and nephew found her 7 a.m. or 9:30. There's a confusion about the 7 a.m. to 9:30 thing. When the police station talks about it and the crime scene people, then you have the niece, nephew, Facebook, it kind of thing. So do your own research, guys. Okay. But what it is it happened the night before. Now I will let you know in reading in the comments, and what we're to understand, one or both was still awake, still active. They said that they found them unalive, but in talking, they said they were still moving. So it looks like in the end, though, they had passed on. The victims are Sarah and Thomas Lombard. They were identified as elder, very kind, calm people, helping in the community. Sarah's sister Melba revealed, okay, which later we'll get to, that they went to the couple's house at 8 a.m. according to the police, but no one answered despite how many times she called out. That something bad had happened. She entered the house, discovered that they had both been like laying there on the floor, scattered blood, and they said hit by the weapon was allegedly had punctured their throat extremely, okay, is what we just actually heard also, and that it was very, very violent. And in saying that, usually, as me and George discussed, these are usually crimes of passion, angry family, something else. When somebody goes in to rob a house, I mean, we have all watched enough, and was it NCIS or some of these others?
Well, you don't have to
Dun,
watch.
dun, dun,
Just saying it's
dun,
kind of
Well,
common sense.
I mean, some people just think that they just get violent because they didn't hand over the money. Not like that.
Mm-mm.
They don't do a mafia move on somebody. So this is personal. According to the sister, they believed that the crime to have been in the back of the house. The Ormoc police are continuing to cover this. It said Station 2 is the one that's covering it. Upon arrival, the officers did at that point find them unalived. But like I said, in other notes and people talking, one of them was still alive. Also, I want to let you know on the side note, there's other things going on. Alleged, and I'm assuming it's the female. George said it could be the 81-year-old man, and by the way, it is an age gap. Me and George talked about this. I always got to throw in the age gap thing. It's still 65 to 81, and they're off on their ages because here in a little bit we have photos. I'm gonna go ahead and play this through the footage we have. That there he is. There's the brother. But he's 81. There's birthday balloons behind him. What kind of investigators are they to say that the man was there? At one point they said he was 61 and 81. Okay, but it clearly the birthday balloons initially it showed that he's had an 80th birthday, and it wasn't recent either. So the guy is 80. They both are employees, or was, of
Were.
Walmart. Both of them were Walmart. You picture them as Walmart greeters.
Yeah.
So they both were employees of Walmart. Looks like they decided to move to the Philippines. And I get that because I'm just an average person too. Hard worker, never rich, came from a poor family, born a poor white child on the south side of Kentucky. With a credit score of 30. And in saying that, they were just average. So you want something inexpensive, you want to mix in the culture, your spouse is Filipino, what better thing to do than to come to the Philippines? If you're doing it right, everything seemed to be okay. But what happened in the end is they moved out to nowhere. Can you look up to see how far away the McDonald's is to Ormoc City in that area? You're going to have to get your phone out to look at stuff. Don't. 1 second. Can you look up the McDonald's for me? Because to me, they're out in the sticks. All of it around, as you guys can
Ormoc
see.
is a big place, so it's kind of like.
Yeah, but they could still be out on the beach. I'm not saying they're out in the boonies, but where's they said that he went on the occasion.
Ormoc is not exactly a place I would recommend.
Well, they're in Sito. They are, look up the area of Liloban, Liloban, or Sito Talong.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get an ideal of, they probably weren't around the corner anyways. So they built a life out here and just living a regular life, but something went south. My guess is based on finances. It's still, even though they're just ex-Walmart employees, he had a Social Security. The nephew was interviewed. We watched that interview, which was very odd. We watched the sister of the wife talk, which was really odd. And we have our theories. Other people have theories. Also, they have put out a reward, which is equaling about $2,800. Other family members. I haven't heard any word from the brother.
Good call. There isn't any. There isn't any.
Oh, a McDonald's nearby? So they must have to go out. Now, here's the thing. There's the sister. Okay.
And Jollibee, same thing. There's none in that area.
Yeah, so they're not exactly like walking distance, or, I mean, in other words, they're out there in the sticks.
Yeah,
we're not talking
there, yeah.
mountain sticks, but enough. And I don't believe they're on family land, but here's the thing. In the notes and us watching yesterday, we spent a few hours on this yesterday. And through all the translations, these guys knew a lot. There was a lot of people there on the property, but the sister and the nephew had a ton of information. When the incident happened the night before on the 17th, supposedly the sister had talked to the family, the husband and wife, about getting medicine for them and something else. They're helping them, looks like. They had just had a conversation. Only these guys had known that they had went to the bank and shopping and picked up a bunch of money the night before.
It's very odd, yeah.
Very odd. Very, that's all I got to say, is that they had all the information, like the breakdown. And yeah, do women gossip and talk about, hey, I did this, and that? But the fact they both were going on about, hey, well, he just went to the bank and picked up money and he's getting Social Security, like they had all of his information. And so I get it. To me, it's too much information. Where's
the guy?
Oh, I'm working on it. So I'm trying to do two things at once. Here, you can officially go back to that. So anyways, let me get this off the screen, make sure there's nothing else in there. The sister is 63 years old, multi-punctured wounds on their body. And like I said, they were, they're now, I don't know. See, here's the thing. When things get written out and translated from Filipino, they really get juggled around. Money hunt for hosting my brother and sister-in-law. So, okay. So there is people that are putting out their rewards, like I said, just going through, but they've increased it slowly over the last few days. Okay, you're on. All right, so
Hit play.
well, yeah, you can go ahead and play it all the way through right now. So, like I said, they said allegedly there was pants down around the ankle. The sister had talked to her the night before. Here's the thing. Here's the scene. Look at this wall, guys. You might want to pause on this one. Here's the deal, guys. Remember we talked
There
about
it is.
safety?
That's where they cut it.
We talked about safety and everything. You wouldn't think that you would need safety. What random person went out in the middle of boom, boom, boom area and attacked somebody knowing they had money, knowing they had a safe? That's an inside job. So what I'm saying is, peep this. If they would have went through the gate, according to the nephew that was interviewed by the radio station that was strangely there the next day, that the gate would have rattled and it's rusty and they would have known, the dog would have went off.
All right. Now,
So then they cut through the fence on the backside. Is that a normal robber? I mean,
that's what I was getting at. Now, be aware. This is the hole that they made. I'm gonna
and it's not very high.
hit play so I can
See more,
all right,
yeah.
so this is where they cut it, and then okay, that's cyclone wire. Okay, cyclone wires usually keep chickens or pigs in, whatever. Be aware that if you're a thief or somebody who has ill intentions, cyclone wire is not going to stop you. You're just going to get, a bolt cutter, even a cheap one.
Probably a pair of scissors.
You can cut through this. Now, what I'm getting at is, this is somewhat out of the story, but I'm just telling you guys what to use. Don't use cyclone wire. Don't use chicken wire. The reason why is when you cut it, it doesn't make a sound. Yeah, sure, it makes a sound, but if you're inside the house, you're not going to hear it.
I had to put some bells on that shit.
Now, the common practice of Filipinos who know better, because some people still use cyclone
I had to tie
wire,
bells to it.
is they use actual sheets of tin, like a wall of tin.
Yep.
The reason being is, one, you can't cut tin as easy, because if you're going to cut tin, you're going to cut literally the whole thing. Cyclone wire, you just snip a few areas and you're in. So you use a tin wire. And not to mention, if you use a tin wall, it makes this annoying, wobbly, metallic sound. You know what I'm talking about? Like, exactly. While you're cutting it, it's gonna make that weird
I still
and loud
say tie
noise.
bells and stuff.
So what I'm saying is, yeah, cyclone wire's not gonna stop anybody.
I mean, I get it. So you might, I mean, even having that wall with that, to me, that was just a waste of money, and that still cost them probably a few $100s to put up that concrete and that. So what I'm saying is, anybody could have cut through that, but who would have thought that somebody would have done that and even known that they were out there?
Now the thing also, be aware, is the area. Okay. Now things change, things do get better, but the area they're living in is, I hate to say, it's not exactly a good area. So, fine. If you want to live in a not so good area, that's fine. That's your choice. But be aware that this kind of wall is not going to stop bad people. I mean, you can live wherever you want, but
Yeah, I
at
mean-
least do something better than a freaking cyclone wire. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, Expat 47 is on our second sister channel, Retirement Talk Live Philippines, and welcome to the channel. He says here, so they made the mistake of being worth more dead than alive.
There it is.
Maybe they didn't loan the money to family members. Maybe, and here's another thing. There was also an employee because they were building something on the lot. Okay. So supposedly they are researching a guy that they let go some time ago, but he was paid and everything else. They did hire more people. More than likely, these were still family members or friends of friends. Remember, everything's a chain here in the Philippines, like in Mexico. So they did let an employee go. So they are investigating him. But here's the point that I want to make, and the scenario that keeps coming up. The sister was really all up in their business, and so was the nephew.
Okay.
Somebody had to have
So,
a real inside track.
Be aware too that, again, if you actually study, read about crime scenes or anything like that, What is that?
Mary played
All right.
with the kitten.
So now the thing is the reason why they expired is they got jabbed to death. Okay? And what I'm getting at is
And seems to be some other things, because according to the initial reports and people that were there were bloody pants outside, and one of them had their pants down around their legs. I'm just saying this is on Facebook and a couple of the local radio stations and some of the crime scene stuff. So I still find there's something else going on.
okay. Well, like I said, first off, they got jabbed to death. Okay. Now the reason why this is significant is because most of the time when somebody gets jabbed to death, it's personal. One. Two, it's kind of like this. It's
Mary, stop.
let's say it's not personal, then usually it's bludgeoned to death. When somebody gets bludgeoned to death, that's an anger thing. Somebody's just mad and just taking it out on somebody else. And also, when somebody gets jabbed to death, usually I'm not saying anything.
That's the nephew, by the way.
But most of the time, this is a woman thing. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, that's where the crime of passion and some of the things come where they're, where they're at. Yeah, I just wanted to get us up on
Now
the screen.
the reason why I pause at the nephew is because I'm not saying he did anything, but for some strange reason, the nephew knows way too much than he should for somebody.
And they're the ones that seem to be assisting him according to their own statements.
He was speaking in his own language, but he knows too much.
And he's not looking the reporter in the eye at any point.
That's why I paused the video, because he wasn't during the interview. He couldn't look at the camera. He wasn't even looking at the reporter.
Yeah.
He was looking somewhere else, which is kind of sus. And also, like I said, the guy knew too much. Way too much. In fact,
that he got his money the day before. There was money in the house.
Yeah, and they were interviewing him. He mentioned that, oh yeah, they have a pension. This, and I'm like, wait a minute, why would you mention that?
He just got all the supplies.
The reporter
didn't need to know.
The reporter didn't ask him, did they have a pension? No, he didn't ask that. But next thing you know, he's spotting. Oh he had a pension and she had a pension, and
so there's things to learn from this. If you guys are coming here to the Philippines, and like I said, I've said this before, that really you should keep all the finances together. Have we mentioned it on air? Yes. I mean, so really this needs to be something that you would want to keep to yourself. Family members will try to get up in your business here. I'm telling you, the U.S. they will too, but here I'm telling you, they're up in your business. I mean, they're wanting to borrow money. They're wanting to do all these different things. So it's quite important for people not to be mentioning that, because I don't think there was any reason for them to know exactly how much money they were getting out the night before. He also said that somebody said that he had everything in a safe and that they knew about the safe and that the robber knew about the safe. But the stuff was locked down.
They had all their important stuff padlocked. I'm like, dude.
Yep, he knew all that.
How would you know that?
Yeah,
why are you up in their business knowing that all the important stuff is padlocked?
All right, so you don't find it. I was going through this yesterday.
And this is the nephew.
Right.
I'm not even talking about, like, okay, if that was the surviving wife, yeah, sure, of course. Because you live there. You live right next to your husband. You would know that because you sleep in the same bed.
Or you
would see all the hidden stuff. But this is a nephew.
Right. So, I mean, like,
and
I'm close
nephew,
with
not a kid. If he was a kid, I get it.
Right.
You know, you look at, as a kid, you go through the bedroom and look through, find some trouble. But,
yeah, I mean, I'm close with my daughter and I tell her things, and I've been known to be close with some of my sisters, but even I don't give that much information. I don't sit there and say, hey, all my jewelry's padlocked up in the back of the house and this, and that. And I do have information. I don't know if that helps Jenny to have that.
No, it kind of does.
Okay, so let me tell you what else I know about this. They said that the jewelry was missing, a laptop was missing, so they took valuables from the house. So it looks like the robbery situation. Also, what were some of the other things they were saying? Like when they found initially when they cut through the fence and they avoided the noisy door and the dog, which means they knew about it. It was like inside. They knew about everything. And if it was a construction worker, how and why would he know that the money came in the day before and within a 6 to 8 hour period this all happened?
That's called deflection.
And so that happened. And then on top of that, supposedly she went outside. Okay, remember, still she's the 65-year-old and he's 81. And it's like, here, let me go outside and see what's going on. So he didn't go out to deal with stuff. The lady went out to deal with it. She took a flashlight. They found the flashlight. It's an oversized one of those big giant ones. They found it in the yard. And supposedly the guy came through. The dog was going off anyways. The guy, they said that she knew who it was. I don't ask me how this all came down, but supposedly she did and went in the house. So whether she knew that's what was going on, surprise, shocked, or something, she dropped the flashlight. I guess that's why they think that she dropped it. There might have been a struggle. Who knows? But once inside, supposedly something bamboo was used to break one of the windows, but somehow they actually got in. And then a bunch of other stuff happened. So it's, soon as I heard Alex Abroad cover this a couple days ago, he talked about robbery and being out in the province. I said, oh, there's got to be more to this. So we've been gathering for the last 2 days. Then the interviews, and then another interview. And it's like here in the Philippines, you can find a whole bunch of stuff out. So it's sad. It's tragic. They said they'll be investigating the worker that was let go. I think it's one of those loose ends that I don't know why. I think there's a lot of other stuff going on. So.
Yeah, it's just weird that if it was the worker, I'm not saying it is. How would you know when they're going
the family,
to the bank?
but it's definitely an inside job, which usually a lot of them are. So it's just kind of crazy. So be sure to comment, be sure to subscribe. Let us know what your theories are. So in saying about not letting everybody know your business when you're here, then on top of that, moving out to the province brings its own set of problems. To me, I feel more in the city. Yeah, can there be more issues? Yes, but sometimes I feel like there's other stuff going on. You got your red crap over there, your red horse sugar crap there.
Red.
Oh, red sting or whatever. Don't eat up all my peanuts.
Red.
Don't eat up the.
This is Sting. This is not an alcoholic beverage. But anyway.
See, look, it's gone already. See, when we start letting the comments up, the scroll went away again.
Oh, okay.
I know my face is itching. Let me try to put it back up again. Because, by the way, guys, we looking for our bitcoins. George is looking for Bitcoin today for the show, right?
Just for 1 Bitcoin, we can feed all the cats.
Right. Gonna have to. So no, guys, be sure to comment, like, and subscribe.
1 stinking Bitcoin, we can feed the cats, guys.
And I think what we've decided, we were re-talking about our birthday again, is that I think we're just going to do a bunch of things, but we're going to do the barbecue thing, and we'll probably go spend a night at one of the hotels here on Clark. You know what I really want to go to? That Honey Pot place. No, I'm serious. It's like a skeezy hotel. Let's see how Heidi reacts. Problem is you can't put anybody on camera anymore without any sort of problems. So, skis. Yeah, isn't it called Honey Pot or something? But no, they're revamping the privacy law. The one that Brian Philly in the Philippines, the one that came out in March, not recently. So supposedly, there's been people covering the Privacy Act again, and they're saying vloggers have to leave people off of their screens now. First off, we do a lot of lives now. If anybody wants us to remove, it's in the description.
I want my face removed.
But here's the thing. I would agree with our Philippine journey. I hope you're having fun. I'm going to blur you right now if you don't be quiet. So, right. So I would agree with him that the vloggers need to stop. A lot of Filipinos and expat vloggers are using strictly the people as their content. And so they're walking through recording. But see, there's a lot of Filipinos making money on it too. So they're walking through Tondo and these other places making money. But in saying that, yeah, they just it came out in March. The most recent update was March, April, or May, but they're reposting it again. But the privacy law's been there for forever. Now with Vitelli, it's kind of bringing it back, and they're looking to add additional things. So you can't see that at all.
Oh.
No, it doesn't show it. So all I can say right now is you silly. Oh, now you can see it. That's much better. Is okay. So back to the story and the situation at hand is that, yeah, our birthday's up and coming. And so we're going to just do different things. And I'm going to leave George at home because you heard us in the beginning of the live. You know, I'm about ready to choke him half the time. I hope they draft you.
I did sign that paper. Can you imagine if they did?
Hey, it ain't over till the fat lady sings, and I ain't got nothing to say
I'm too
today.
old, to be honest with you.
Well, yeah, you are. You're 50 now.
Yeah.
You'll be 51 this year or something.
Well, who knows? They might send all the immigrants first.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, thank you so much, Laura. You're a blessing. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much. Oh yeah, that's like a
video game.
controller.
Oh,
Yeah,
well,
that's
no,
controller.
it's the emblem, babe.
Hmm?
So see, it's the emblem.
Yeah, that's a controller.
Oh yeah, that is a cute sticker.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Laura, I think this will be
It does
your.
say it right there.
Yeah, it breaks it down in code when it's up on the screen. For those that are new, when we have a birthday month because everybody's birthday, like several of our pets have birthdays. Me and George have it, and so we do like a birthday month. You have 4th of July. We got all kinds. Grandson's birthday. There's all kinds of things.
It was my uncle's birthday yesterday.
Oh,
All that red horse and stuff. Yeah.
I don't know nothing. George doesn't communicate at all. I told you he's an insensitive. You know what? So I wouldn't know. Did you have ice cream?
Actually, it was my mom's birthday.
Anyways, there's the communication. But thank you, Laura. Thank you so much.
It was my aunt's birthday.
We're talking about July. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. Here, so I'll let you go
It
through
was my pet
these.
Roach's birthday too.
Oh my God, just stop. So we usually do bigger things. Like last year, we went to the resort. This year, I just told George instead of, we usually have where we spend a few $100s US on different birthday things, and we usually put it into one basket. And I'm like, it's just, I would rather do things where we do different things, like maybe dinner and the movies. I was discussing this with them yesterday, and that we go do one night at a hotel. But sometimes even that, by the time you eat dinner at the hotel and everything, you're still out $200. So we might as well do, maybe we can go to Bread Talk and go and do some things in the mall. But we plan to do a bunch of little things in July. But you guys are a blessing. We appreciate you guys, chiming
We
in.
can go to Five Sisters.
Is Rosie involved?
Yeah, it's like 500 pesos per drink. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, you go to Five Sisters, guys. It's right there in Marisol. It's like 500 pesos per lady's drink, and they sit with you.
Getting right with God, walking the red mile. Gonna get right with God. And I'm gonna forgive this fool that's sitting next to me. And God, look over these people that are watching us, trying to figure out if we got more gossip than not, and people trying to figure out our MO and our angle and all this, and that they just take care of George, and that George just goes up them stairs, and that he's dusting those stairs, and all of a sudden he goes slip, bang, 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 right into it.
I'm just giving you guys life tips that no other vlogger tells you about.
First, you got to have a tip.
Wah, wah, wah.
Mary, leave the kitty alone. Come here. Grab Mary and call her.
You know what the
You're supposed to be rolling this and putting them up.
You know what the
You're
X,
fired.
You know what the never mind. I'm not gonna.
George, you're supposed to be scrolling when I'm talking, and you haven't put up anything else.
Huh?
Oh. And we have not cleaned these mic covers. Every time, like we get these new mic covers and they've only been used a few times and now it's all itchy. So now I
He'll
forget.
be like, Carlos, cats are sneezing.
I think there's like an allergy thing. It's breaking up. Oh yeah, let us know. Was that in the beginning? It was breaking up, guys.
No, it was
Hey,
in the
Alan.
beginning.
Yeah, let us know how the clarity is, anyways.
I think this phone should be away from this because it picks up signals and it does interrupt.
Well, probably even this is too. Hello, hello. Say something in your phone. I'm checking to make sure
It's fine.
yours. The other mic did not move.
Huh? What do you mean? It's
This
not?
No, only one. Are both supposed to be moving?
Yes. It looks like they're both connected.
Talk into your mic. Make sure it's connected at the back of yours. The cat's full.
Mic test, mic test. No, it's working.
It wasn't a minute ago, so it is now. When you were talking, it didn't come on. Okay, all right. We was just doing mic check, and not the one that needs to. But hey, Slick Rick is in the house. Last second when I'll be trolling and rolling. Dun 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 dun. All right, so now we're past this. There's definitely something going on with this family. So in saying this, safety can be an issue here in the Philippines. I still feel safe. This could have happened to anybody, but when I feel crime is happening here, it's not always just individual. In other words, usually it's an inside job, or if somebody's attacked or scammed, it's by a loved one, and it's sad. But
No, this wasn't personal. That's for sure. That's not a.
I don't think it was.
This is not a transient crime or something.
I don't think it was even the ex-employee that
No,
was,
it
because he was
doesn't-
paid. If he wasn't paid and he was mad, most people get over anger like that pretty quickly.
And the timing's too much. Like, wait a minute. So he knew when they're going to the bank?
Yeah, within 12 hours, and just like the deal with that I would almost call them a lesbian couple, the gay couple, and I have to mention it because it was mentioned in the newspaper. It was a guy that had a pig farm that was Filipino. He got married to an American guy. They went back to the U.S. He was running some sort of restaurant there, and he has a business in the Philippines. They came back for a vacation, and they just went to the bank, and then they made it back to the hotel, and then supposedly at that point somebody approached after the pickup of the money, and I guess it had been a while, like they arrived there, and then it was personal, like they took the bag from the kid, the younger guy. It was an age gap couple, and then it turns out in the end they ended up offing the American, and it was just too personal. There was no need. They had the money, so there still had to be something going on, and we had covered that. But you always have to be on the.
You have to remember too that most of the time when I said most, I'm not saying all the time. Most of the time when they off the other guy, it's because they know him.
I think so too.
That's because they can identify him, tell them who they are. I'm saying.
Or as it allegedly was said initially, it could have been something from the boyfriend or they married. They were legally married in the U.S., not according to the Philippines, of course. But yes, the married couple, he was not. They took the bag from him, but then turned around and got the American. So at this point, there's a lot to process. Are you still safe here in the Philippines? Yes.
Yeah.
I would just watch how much information you're giving out, and it seems like lately all I'm hearing about is homelessness, scams. There's another homeless expat recently that was found. I'm like, I'm not going to do another homeless guy this month. I'll wait till next month. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, I'll just give you this month. So, but I wasn't going to cover. There's another homeless expat, and the whole deal is he got scammed. He got thrown out of the house. So he didn't get scammed. His lady took the money, the house, and everything, and here he is out on the street. And most of these guys won't go back. One, because you're embarrassed to be back in front of your family. Two, they can't make it in America. I hate to say it. I'm not going to go back and give up my Social Security and take on a full-time job just to get deposits. Yeah. You can just shout that one out. I'll be getting down to the sticker. Thank you so much, Marion. It's hard on this
Marion,
app to get to the stickers.
Thank you so much, Marion.
Thank you
Appreciate it
so
so
much. Yeah, George, we can see it
They'll,
on the
they'll
screen.
go in our my funeral fund.
Yeah, I'm gonna be putting. Yeah,
Mhm.
so funeral funds exist here because there ain't no simping going on here. Nobody wants to hear the real harsh truth. I'll be rolling. You
Yeah.
got that
James
song?
says crime happens everywhere, but still, you got to be careful when there's always a bad apple. No. Yeah, it happens everywhere, and I
Yeah.
hate to say it. Most of the time, when crime happens, in this situation, it's usually somebody you know.
Seems to be a lot of that here in the Philippines. I
Mhm.
mean, usually when crime is happening, in my opinion, in the U.S., it is random robberies or run up and they steal their car and then shoot them because they're taking the car or stuff like that. But here, it's kind of, it seems so personal when people end up broke, homeless. It's because you're so vulnerable once you leave your country and you come here. And when I first came here, we had a video. The previous live stream was about stages that you go through for retirement. Then you put yourself in the Philippines. And me and George had a lot of tense moments. Like I was always picking and messing with him and fighting, which I like to do with him and give him a hard time. But then you add in that I'm here and I'm trying to learn things. And then I felt he needed to take on more responsibilities. I really used to take that out on you when you weren't even doing that in the US. So what did I expect that would change here than happen in the US? See what I mean? In other words, I was already dealing with things. I was expecting him to do more. And so when you're leaning in on a spouse and you're doing all this trusting here, these guys get into these relationships based on the wrong reasons, especially in some of these age gap relationships. I don't know. Things don't change because you come here to the Philippines. These problems still exist everywhere. And I keep hearing these guys where the Filipinas will leave them in 2.2 seconds here. These guys put so much money and investment and time and problems. Now, I'm not saying it's everybody. There's really good relationships, but if you don't open your heart and mind to see everything that's going on, then you're going to have problems when you get here.
Well, also you have to remember too that you can't take things for granted. Like Chosen One says, 81. If you're ruthless, they couldn't let him die naturally. I mean, I'm pretty sure the guy woke up like, oh man, I feel good. 81, feeling good. Everything's great.
No,
And then that night, gone.
well, the crazy part is they were super nice people, and if you just, if the niece and nephew, if it was family that did it, they might have been able to ask for the money. Sadly, they might have asked, and they wouldn't give it.
Well, I mean, I don't want to sound messed up or anything, but that's why it happened to him because they're super nice people.
Ooh, I was thinking that yesterday. We did discuss that yesterday.
Because if you're
nice
too nice,
people finish last.
That yes, it makes you a target.
Here's the thing. When I got here, I felt like I had to. We because George had not been home in years. For those that don't know, I'm an American. We came here during the pandemic. We've been here 4.5 years or something, and we when we first got here, you go through the stages of retirement and all these things. You go through these stages of giving out money, trying to save Filipinos. You go through all this thing. Got to give money to all the kids. You're feeding them junk. You want to help everybody. We're feeding every animal. At one point, we had 14 pets. Like we had the 13 cats plus Willie or something. So we were like trying to save everybody's situation. And
yeah, good luck somebody breaking in here. We're gonna throw the cats at you.
Right. Wow. And give me the cat thing. Wow. You wasting our food supply?
Well, yeah.
you can make nunchuck
Rabies is a bitch. Just saying.
Nunchuck cats.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
And use the meme. I'll turn my cats into meme. Turn them into machine gun cats.
So anyways, so you're going to go through that stage of wanting to do that. And here's the thing. You guys watch me. Okay, we've been here now 3 years or something, almost 3 years. And you guys remember me bitching and complaining about we gave candy to the kids and ice cream at the gate situation. Next thing you know, they were here every day, like messing around
You
and
never do nice stuff at your
banging,
house.
and they're breaking our trash cans outside,
That makes you a
and
target.
all these things. And then every time I stepped outside, it's like we have a government official guy up the street that gives money out every day. He has parties down there to give stuff out to the, the locals and all that. And he gives the money away constantly. Well, they see me at 5 a.m. out there taking care of the animals. They beehive over. At first, I was doing it. When these people would stop, I would just, every time past the gate, I would go get money. Hold on, let me go get it. And at one point, I just had to say, can't do it no more. Can't
Yeah.
actually do it no more.
It's like Heidi's so white when she goes outside.
How white is
the
she?
the Filipinos see a second sun. Like, whoa, it's really bright over there. What's that? Oh, an expat. She's got money.
It's Heidi, the Casper ghost. Heidi,
story.
the white ghost.
Mhm.
The white host. So that's just the
Yeah,
way it
picture
is.
for life. Where's the location of crime? It happened in Ormoc Leyte, and Ormoc is kind of like a area. I wouldn't recommend it.
Well, specifically Sito Lang, it says there. It said Ormoc City. It doesn't appear to be. They're like really actually in a city like we are.
Well, like I said, there's no Jollibee or McDonald's there. That's your sign. Here's your sign.
Anybody can get got in the province. Yep, just as much as the
Mhm.
city. It's too easy. Expats need to stay.
Yeah, and I'm not picking at anybody in particular, but I'm just saying if you live in the Philippines in an area where there's no Jollibee or McDonald's, you probably shouldn't be there.
Like, for multiple reasons for me. Like, literally, there's a Jollibee. I mean,
Well,
I can walk
it's a
there
lot of
and I'm
reasons.
disabled. So what I'm saying is if I can walk to one, then we've got all these police stations around and everything. And we're like there's CCTV cameras all
Everywhere.
over the
So
street.
they're everywhere, yeah.
It's like welcome people because these people in the neighborhood will actually use them.
Well, that's what I'm saying. For example, now be aware that in the US they do the same thing. When I say there's no Jollibee or McDonald's, there might not be a police station nearby or a fire department nearby. And most of the time they borrow the police or fire department from the next city over or area over. Now again, like I said, even in the US they do this in the boondocks. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying you're pretty much on your own. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
If you call police,
shows them one. Did you enjoy yourself?
You'll be off by the time they get to you, if that makes any sense. Or if you call the fire department, your house is gone by the time they get to you.
Well, that's another thing. There were several reports, 100%, that came from the radio guy in interviews. One of them was still alive in the morning. So, but unfortunately, they didn't. So that is brutal to totally do that. They just weren't puncture wounds. They were actual. That was violent. Nobody does that unless they're angry.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys think that I'm just going to say, "Hey, George," like we've been fighting all night, and I found out he was cheating, and he emptied the bank account, and I'm just going to say, "Poof, goodbye, George." No, I'm gonna gouge his eyes out. I'm gonna cut his ears off.
What?
I'm gonna take his toes off. I'm gonna take his manhood and tie it to a nearby chicken. I'm telling you, you're gonna know I'm angry, man.
All right, Bobbit.
That chicken won't mind.
All right,
So you
do a
guys
little
got
Reno
the
Bobbit.
point, okay? So what I'm saying is whoever did this, but then again, I'm trying to figure how that might tie back to the employee, which might have been the angry one or possibly a family member. But the employee that had been gone a little bit would not have known that they just went to the bank there. I mean, he wasn't peeping out in the field. He went like, "Hey, look, wait a minute. Is that Doritos? Hey, yo, what's going on? Hey, oh, wow, check it out. They got lumpia? What?" I mean, they weren't like out in the field watching these fools. It's
No, it's like some who said it? One of you asked if it's an inside job. It's right there. Yeah, Juan de la Cruz. Yeah, possible inside job.
yeah.
I'm pretty sure it is. It's too accurate.
Yes, and the family members that were interviewed that were there immediately. Hey, here's the thing. Usually the criminals return to the crime scene. Can I have some of that music? Dun, 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 dun.
Oh,
Go ahead,
yeah.
ready? Dun, 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 dun. Go
Now,
ahead.
be aware also that
Return to this.
if you watch the interview,
They return to the scene of the crime to watch. So that would make sense that
here's the
whoever did it
thing.
was probably, and there's a bunch of them. Notice the cops are there all professionally dressed, and there's like 40 people in the yard. Wouldn't you have all these people leave? Like if you're in the U.S., they're like, "Hey, get back! You guys need to go somewhere." And here's these people just chilling like.
Well, also there's somewhat like a discrepancy during the interviews because one says they came over there at 8, and one says they came over there at 7, which I find it really sus. So, I'm not saying anything, but don't give me your poisoned water.
It isn't poison water. It doesn't have any flavor. It says it gives you energy. It's got B12. That I'm sure of. Do it. Okay.
And just like that, George got grape.
Let's get it. Oh. Where's your wallet at? I need to go buy some new purses. Your mother's here. Lazada's here with your new socks. Pizza's here. How about some of that soup? There it is.
Yeah.
No, the main ingredients in this is B12 and some sort of Chinese herbs. I've taken it for 2 days, so you're safe. It should give you a burst of energy.
Yeah. So, like I said during the interview, like they say they showed up. Yes, they showed up at 8, but I could have sworn the other person says they showed up at 7.
Okay, yeah.
So
with
there's a
the
discrepancy
interviews,
there.
yeah, between
So-
the
So
aunt.
I'm thinking,
Melba.
in my opinion, again, and I'm not accusing anything. I'm not saying anything. But is it possible that they came over at 7 to check on him and then reported it at 8? You know what I'm saying? 'Cause there's 2 timelines that don't sync up. They don't add up.
Yeah, there's somebody that hates that couple. Something was too much anger or something. Nobody does that type of. Not only did that happen, but there were several puncture wounds. So the puncture wounds were here and everywhere. The house was full of body fluids, paper strewn everywhere, jewelry box. They said there was still some jewelry, but it was probably the costume jewelry, which is something else. Usually, let's say the family member knew, they probably knew when she wore something, because she probably said, "Oh, this is gold." This could not have been the construction worker. Unless he actually was like,
the timing
that's
is
real
too
gold.
much. Yeah, the timing is too much.
And so, yeah, so the timeline through the newspapers and through the interview is they were found on the 18th. It happened on the 17th. It said that it was around 7 a.m. And then the report was also 9:30 a.m. So maybe the 9:30 is when the police actually arrived. But one of them said they didn't go in, and then the other family member said that they did. And we're not talking about multi. We're talking about the son, the nephew, and a lot to process, man.
Oh dang! Second it went poof down the stair. George goes.
I ain't gonna hide that, man. I'm gonna get out the duct tape and everything.
Yeah, he'll be process. Dang, rug. That's bad.
Not only will I just give you the money, I will ask you if you're hungry and take you to Jollibee's. Well, that's what we started doing. So I'm glad you mentioned that, chosen one, because in the last year, I've really learned. So I've even turned down, there's the same blind woman that comes through and her daughter comes through. And she said, we've given money before, but she keeps coming through, right? And then she puts her up like, she pushed her mother forward and she goes, she's blind. I said, I can see that. I can see. And I didn't mean to be rude, but it was the truth. And I'm like, I can see. And I said, but we're not giving money at our gate. You keep coming back. And I feel bad because I've been trying.
Well, don't be nice where you live at, because then they'll start coming over every day. Trust me.
And that's what happened. We really started going through giving out some money. And, I've been trying for the most part, to walk a straighter path of doing more for charity, but we do more of that by like helping with the dog shelters, and then we, the pet shelters. And if we see somebody on the street that's elder and we can see they're disabled, not the ones faking. I just seen a guy in Manila that literally people have caught him on camera, like pretending to be totally disabled. And as soon as he gets money, he walks away. That you can be scammed that way too. But for the most part, if they're disabled or elderly or children, yes, we try to feed them first. Giving out money. I think once we did at the bread shop, we gave that kid money because he said his mother was working and he was going like from place to place. He'll step in and say, "Hey, can you help me?" And the kid was kind of smart, but you're going to find a lot of things like that that break your heart, but we can't help them all. We can't go through. I mean, I want to. I really, really do. So we try to do long term. Like, I think now we're up to, we feed 7 or 8 people. We feed 7 or 8 cats on a daily basis, twice a day. We rescued Willie. He's been an outdoor dog. Now, Mary, that was just a birthday present. And then we've got a bunch of them we're rescuing now. We still have 3 of them to fix, and then we have to go from there. But we've broken down. But you just have to find ways that you can help, but you can't help everybody. Is everything okay?
Yeah. What? Okay. No. Okay. So here's the thing. Oh, no. That's different. It's my sister. She's talking.
Yes.
What it is, it's what I met some people yesterday, and they were like, "Wait, your what's her name's
I want that Bitcoin.
your what's her name? Insert my sister's name here. Oh, your what's his name's brother." So what I'm saying is, they actually knew who I was, and they
Based
knew,
on your sister?
and they knew, well, they knew my entire family because they said, "Oh, she did this, she did that, and then you went to the U.S. You used to ride your BMX bike all the time." You know what I'm saying? I loved your bike, man. So what I'm saying is, they actually knew us. What it was? It was an old neighbor that moved away, and that's all it is. But, yeah. Anyway,
Wouldn't you want to have a pension too? Have a pension, Doctor? Wouldn't you want to have a pension? Have a pension too? Well, here's the thing. Yeah, I mean, most definitely. I figured the couple had Social Security coming in, and the wife is a dual citizen. Now, see, I figured there was more of an age gap thing going on, which technically that's still, let's see, 81 and 65, so that's 16 years. That's still, when they listed celebrities as age gap, they started as low as 10 years talking about them.
Yeah.
So 16 is still a decent number. But no, guys, I can't begin to tell you that. I guess I tell you guys a little bit more on air, which doesn't make it any better, to let you know, hey, we live on 2,000 or less US dollars a month, okay? We're telling you that because we're wanting you to not make the mistake. So I'm willing to stand up to somebody that's going to try to stab me in the back and come in and do what they're going to do and push George down the stairs and then tie him to a chicken and all that stuff, to let you guys know, okay? I mean, if it's my time, it's my time. That's kind of where I'm at situation. But this couple is pretty fragile. They're super nice. They're up there in age. They're out in the province and all these things going on. I would not be mentioning your income. I would not be letting people up in your house. I mean, I even find way too many family members too much, but you ain't gonna be able to stop that. If it was my family, I said, get up on out of here and stuff. But it's amazing how there are so many family members, okay, but then they've got a bunch of friends that are coming over, and then next thing you know, everybody's up in your house and stuff. And every time somebody's been in our house to do things, even George said the other day, he looked around and goes, there's a lot of electronics in here, because he goes to the family home. I'm assuming,
it's kind of like this. When we first got here, we had some of the neighbors come over, and we just got here, which means we didn't have anything. And what I'm getting at is, when she sat there on the couch, she says, "You guys have a lot of stuff."
Right, we didn't even have the two.
And I looked around like, what the heck is she talking about?
Well, right. So, yeah, at the first place, we had sent, throughout a short period of time, 10 Billy Buy-in boxes, and we had not unpacked them all.
Yeah, we
Not
didn't
all.
even get them yet. Yeah.
So we didn't have the multi-fans. We didn't have the dehumidifier, the 2 air purifiers. We at that time, I think we had the microwave, but
We
the
didn't even
whole.
have the AC.
All right, yeah. So when people have come in here, they notice we have a lot of stuff, which is indicating money. When we have excessive things that are sitting around in baskets, then so it does to a Filipino. So that enough is enough to trigger people. And it's kind of like I noticed when people, when they had worked at nursing homes or worked as house cleaners for people, they see people with money and the manner that they see them as with money, and then they start taking things. Oh, they've got a lot. Let me go ahead and take it. Or they don't need that
Yeah, they
because
can afford it.
they're old and crusty and laying in bed and they can barely move, and let me take advantage. So you will be seen as vulnerable as the foreigner, and you have to watch out. There's something we'll probably cover on another live stream. Literally just yesterday, I just captured a video of an American actually like freaking out. The guy was freaking out and he was swinging at people after he got out of the trike, and they were speaking in Tagalog. I didn't catch what it is.
Yeah, Sarah Tyson says the nephew didn't look sad about it.
Here you go.
Right.
I don't know what this says, but watch him. He's an older American that's mad and he's swinging at people like he's losing his mind. Watch. But whatever, what does it say on screen?
I don't know. It's cut off.
It'll focus here in a minute. But he starts swinging his backpack at him and everything. I think if I'm to understand most of it, it was because they overcharged him.
Yeah, he's mad at the driver.
And they keep repeating the guy's an Americano, so let's leave him alone. He's a little crazy.
But
or
these are not. None of these. I don't think that's the driver either.
well, at the beginning, see, he just got out of the trike. The driver is still in there. That's how the video starts out. And then I guess whoever he's mad at, he just starts going off. So they will see you as a foreigner, as an American, as a Canadian, or whatever, as just having excessive money. And so the whole thing is you're going to be vulnerable. You're going to be seen as having money. So I know in the Philippines, I have felt, and I've talked to George about this, it's almost like people expect you to give them money. I've been to several countries. I've been to the Middle East. I've been to Europe. I've been through Canada. I've been through Mexico, Belize, and I've been through all these different countries, and never in any of them, in Egypt is really bad, did I ever feel that people were looking like I owed them. It's almost, and I've heard this, guys. I've read the expat forums. I've listened to people, and what I do know is they're like, they expect you. It's like a given. Like like they will bug you on the street, and it's like, well, come on, give it to me anyways. Like you tell them no 100 times, they will continue. And then also they've talked about other family members that ask for money. It's almost a given. It's like, and just forget about it. If you give the money out, you're never getting it back. So I guess what I'm trying to say at this point is that you're going to go through a lot when you actually come here to live. I would still do it, but you have to be a stronger person. You have to be able to. Basically, what I'm doing now is I'm still adjusting in these phases, but now I just tune it out. It's pretty much no, no, and no. So I think we did it.
Yeah. Sniper Pro says I've been to Armagh City in 2014, 2015, 2023. I've never had a problem there. The people are really nice there. I always give the tricycle riders tips, so I can say Armagh City is safe. Well, it used to. Okay, I'm not saying it. It's when you say it's used to be. I'm not saying it changed. Here's the problem. It's kind of like this. Have you guys ever been to Tamaulipas, Mexico? You know, Mexico, not here in the Philippines. I'm talking about Mexico. We've been in Tamaulipas, Mexico, and did me and Heidi feel threatened? Did me and Heidi feel unsafe? Did anything bad happen to me and Heidi in Tamaulipas when we were there? No, not at all. But guess what? It's a bad area.
Right. It's how everything is perceived. And this couple here, it doesn't look like they weren't trying to show things like, in other words, they weren't being flashy. We talked about being flashy here, but they do have multi buildings. That's their setup there. So they will still see if you even don't build something. And like us, we're in a very small average neighborhood. But the fact that our rent is double than some others here, and the fact that we have a car, an e-trike, these pets that we're feeding, and that I'm a big, heavy-set white woman over here, they definitely see us as having some sort of money.
Yeah, and it's like
And I'm
this
like,
too.
I'm broke, man.
Be aware that it's kind of like in the U.S.
And
If-
real quick, on the news article, it's there. You just put in American, um, um, you just put in an American robbery and all of that. I don't want to sit there and say the exact words. I've been avoiding saying all of these words.
Yeah.
So if you just put in the gentleman's name, it's there. There's several articles. It was done a couple days ago. The name, it just put in an American, exactly what we've been talking about, Sarah and Thomas Lombard. And just put Ormoc City, American unalived, and then put the words in there. It will definitely come up, and it is definitely on Facebook. Mostly it's the family members. These aren't, there's one or two radio stations in the police department have actually covered it. So,
Oh.
what's that?
Oh. Well, first off, hey Joe, we can see your comments, and I believe the people can see your comments too. No, I can't say it because of what it blocked chosen one, but whatever you said was hilarious.
No, you can reword it, but if it held it, then it's against their.
Well, I mean, I guess you can show it. Can you read it?
Was there a video footage of it? A video footage of exactly the movement? Of course not. There's interviews. We showed that earlier, but we had it translated. We're not going to. It belongs to the radio station, and on top of that, you guys want to understand it, and I didn't want to put you guys through an hour of translating. So we watched it yesterday, and that's the translations. Or you can go on Facebook. It's on Facebook. So. Yeah, if there's others, go ahead.
All right. Well, just real quick again, this is somewhat like false sense of security. Like I says, another thing is safer to live in a gated community with security cams aside from your own CCTVs. Try to change your routines, especially when
I
going
would
to the
agree.
bank. You know, wife should zip it, not brag. Now, once you said, okay, let's break this down. Safer to live in gated community. Not necessarily can a bad thing really happen to you. Yes.
Yeah.
However, there's a higher probability of whoever did it get
right.
caught.
False. Yeah, false security.
Yeah,
it
and-
doesn't.
Yeah, most crime that does happen in gated communities happen from within the community, aka your neighbor, someone that robs you while you're gone, that kind of deal.
Yeah, you always just have to be on
Yeah.
guard and watch all the things. And here's the thing: you can make all the precautions like they did, and that's what it sounds like. And they trusted everybody, and then it happened. So it was their time to join Jesus. Let me just get right to it. These are one of these things that maybe something further down the line would have happened. It's sad, but I don't. I just like close your eyes and picture them working at Walmart in the United States, and they've been saving and working, and he's even got a brother here. So for those that weren't here in the beginning, he's got a brother that's here too, and then to make it here, it looks like there was one of the family members talking about they felt that was a safe place. They showed the house from a distance on a family member's page, and they said this once was a happy place and now it's a sad place. It doesn't look half bad. So it's kind of crazy if they wouldn't have seen it coming, like George falling down the stairs. You just didn't see it coming.
Right. And also, like I said, try to change your routines. Now,
Yes.
changing your routine does help. Again,
Hey, Victoria.
For example, me and Heidi never go to the bank on the same days of the month. We don't. And
Good
also
morning.
now, however, it is hard to break routines because we are creatures of habit. And also, she also says, wife should zip it, not brag. Well, depending on who you're with, like kind of like me, for example.
Is that further down?
I guess, yeah.
Okay, as in his wife or me bragging? He said wife should zip it.
Not you.
Oh,
Anybody who's here.
other people. Yeah, because
Yeah.
usually we don't say anything.
Yeah, that's why I said, like, for example, me, I don't brag at all.
Not when we're out and about, not to the neighbors, and,
Right.
which
I
they
mean,
could be
period. I don't
watching
brag,
this
period.
when
But there are some that say, "Oh yeah, I have a
65-inch
American
TV,
husband.
3
We have, we have a
TVs.
car. Yeah, da, da,
Mhm.
da, da, Yeah,
They
no.
do it through the YouTube, and are we guilty of that?
Yeah, they
Yes.
post it on Facebook. Yeah, some
And we
do.
have other things in place to actually. We have other things to safeguard, I guess I could say. But what's his name? Let's see. Somebody further. Oh, somebody was talking about the weather here. I thought hell froze over. I sent Sarah a screenshot. It was literally 79 degrees last night. I said, "What's really going on?" And this was like, I think it's 6 o'clock at night. Usually, the weather doesn't drop like that until the end of the year. The weather has been fairly cool here. It's weird. It's burning up in the U.S. and here it is in the Philippines. I asked George this a couple years ago. I said, "Is it possible that it could start getting really cold here and hot in the U.S.?" I spoke too soon, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, what's going on? James is in the house. Hillbilly Pyro.
Yeah, well, Cindy G says, move near a family that are good people, that are your friends, family members. This does help because this tells you can call somebody when something happens. It doesn't have to be a real emergency. For example, just an example, I fell down the stairs, broke my leg, and you need I call somebody and like they come over and just to help me pick me up off the stairs and put me in the car and take me to the hospital, that kind of deal.
Hey, Barry's in the house. Hope you're feeling better. Black Grandpa is
Hey
in
Barry,
the house.
hey Black Grandpa, in
Hey,
Brampton,
Joe is in the house.
Canada, Ontario, Canada. Black Grandpa says nowhere is 100% safe.
Yep.
You can get that sent to the upper room anywhere. There you go. You can take the private elevator in the hospital. I have. I'm still here.
Hey, Chris is in the house.
Barry says I've never been rugged or robbed in the Philippines. And then Chosen One says, oh yeah, no, I'm not gonna repeat that. But anyway. Oh, Chosen One. Lou says most Filipinos put too much information on Facebook, such as look at what I bought, look where I'm at. Yes, again, a lot of them do. A lot of them do. It's like look at me, But then again, so do people in the U.S. too.
Okay, I don't know why dropping pesos is repeating the same question. Maybe it just duplicated or you duplicated it. But he's duplicated. I mean, you definitely are new to the channel, and we just said earlier, I mean, we're not just sitting here because we're really just co-hosts for $100 worth of income a month. So, no, we're married. We've been married. We were married in the U.S. For those that don't know, George was a business owner for close to 10 years. And during the pandemic, employees dropped out, business dropped out. I mean, we could have worked it through, but it just seemed better to start retirement early. So we decided to do vlogging and go through Mexico and do different things. And so, yes, of course, we're married. We've been married. So, been together 6 years, 6.5, something like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, Heidi's in under a wife visa.
Yeah.
Yeah, spouse visa, sorry. Mexico has good food. I need that, because everyone says.
Yeah.
Right? No.
Second win, my wife scams me all the time.
Right.
That's why I stay broke.
That is my daughter. I stay broke. There you go.
Right. To travel to another country to become homeless has to be extremely embarrassing. It is, Chris. Because it happens a lot. And I think, that there have been times like for us that, money's gotten tight, savings was getting low and all of that. And then I thought about that. No way I'm going to tuck my tail between my legs and go back to the US. We've already, the business was sold. We sold a bunch of cars. George sold his motorcycle. I mean, we're talking 7 cars. We ended up, how many altogether, including mine? You got rid of 4 plus motorcycle? So so we went through and did that. Yeah, I have to go down and
Yeah, that's one thing I miss. It's my motorcycle. Yeah,
for George's funeral funds and for Willie's funeral funds. Happy birthday. Yeah, we got the up and coming birthday
and Willie
month.
and Willie. Thank you,
Hey,
chosen one. Appreciate you.
yes, that's definitely enough to do the popcorn and movies. And, I still haven't. You've been to the movies. I have not actually been to an actual indoor movie here. Like, like I would know that there's a difference or something. Maybe the popcorn tastes different.
It's Western Standard.
Well, I know that. You sure the film is Western Standard?
No, it's
Thank
when
you,
you
chosen
watch,
ones.
if you watch, like, say for instance, you're gonna watch like Snow White here. What it is they have like the projector. It just beams white light, and they have big giant cardboard cutouts.
Ooh, somebody.
Yeah, and they're like, "Hi."
Oh, so it's not. It's not in 3D. It's in 3D.
Yeah, they're just people there in front
Barbecue at
with
your
sticks.
house.
Yeah,
Yeah, we thought about that. I told George maybe it's not a good idea to hand out a ton of hot dogs while we're in the yard, but I said that, that might be an ideal too. Um, Also, it's somebody just mentioned the nephew did not look sad enough. That interview was 24 hours after. Him and the mother, I just thought about that. Both those interviews are less than a few hours. Wouldn't you if you lost your sister? We're not talking about the police. That was a radio station. They were hanging out
well,
there.
like I
They didn't.
said,
I would
it's
be,
weird that in the interview he was volunteering information that was not asked.
and not to the police.
And I'm like, wait, what? Nobody's mentioning this. Why are you mentioning it? It's kind
radio
of weird.
station. No, into the radio station. That was, and we're not talking about like a big radio station. We're talking about a small one. Just the guy had a cell phone doing the interview and everything. But
Like,
no,
who talks like that? Nobody. You don't talk to somebody and just volunteer information like that.
kind of crazy. So, yeah, it's. I don't know. Poof, George right downstairs. There he goes. Hey, Joe. Dang, drug, that's bad. It's kind of. You can shout him out if you see one at the bottom.
Billy
Hey,
Pyro says I went to the movies at SM. I watched the Wolverine Deadpool movie in 3D. No, the 3D is good, but again, some of you may or may not be able to watch 3D because of your eyes. But no, in fact, me and Scott's not here with us right now.
Sorry.
Scott and
Rip,
Isa's
little buddy.
world. We watched Aquaman in 3D. It's really good. Yeah.
Here's the thing. 28 years later is out in the movie theaters. But George has a little setup for us here at home, and I watched part of that last night, and it sucked out the yingus. It did not. I've got ADHD, and you got to be like kapow, in order to get me. I don't. I get into some artsy fartsy movies. George tends to like the ones that go way out there, like like if it's a movie about a woman that's been cheated on, this, and that, and then it's a guy sitting in a chair petting a cat, but doing it artistically. I'm like, yeah, I can't get into that crap. You're just gonna have to give it to me straight, man. And just get to it. Like if you're trying to break down, just give it to me. George knows that. Well, this wasn't really artsy fartsy, but it's kind of, it doesn't, to me, I was about a half hour in, and it didn't seem to be linked to anything except for what had initially happened, but yet it was way out there. So I don't know. I don't know if the rest of that's going to be any good, but I definitely appreciate the first 28 days, and then 28 days later.
Yeah.
And then now it's 28 years later. It really has been 28 years, hasn't it?
It is.
Sadly. All right, guys. We're just pulling you down. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, where is Angeles City?
Chosen One says I support my favorite channels. The struggle is on YouTube is real. Oh no, it is. It's actually worse now.
It's worse because there's 1,000,001 vloggers, and the content is becoming further and further out there, and you either have the simping channels that just put the the dancingness and the half naked wives and girlfriends on. You got the ones that use the content from Walking Street or all over the Philippines, the poor. Then you have, there's just everything. And the Filipinos are doing it too. And now with them reinforcing this law about privacy, I hope so too. I'm with our Philippine journey. We've been saying that. These guys that put the cameras in the kids' face, the other Filipinos' face, we're at a restaurant doing the same thing. They get up in the employee's face, and it needs to stop. Everywhere you go, it's like, and this, by the way, I want to let you know that when that was mentioned on our Philippine journey with Mike, hi Mike and Arlene, that it's just not that. It is dealing with police cameras, your helmet cams, CCTV, all of these things. And he did mention if you're monetized, that's where it counts. It counts all the way around. If somebody doesn't want to be on the camera, they're trying to give more privacy. But with everything going on in Vitelli, it really brought it forward. So I'm hoping it does a lot to these bloggers, and they need to make real content, like that Russian that walks around on Walking Street. Like, he puts the cameras in expats' face and gives them a hard time. He puts on every female. He records in the bars. This has got to stop.
Don't do that.
And call it whatever, jealousy, or you're just hating because they're making money. Yeah, you're damn right. You're using other people 100%. Now, are we guilty of having a camera when we're walking through, or we talk to the vendors and we have cameras on? Yes. But as of right now, looks like we're going to blur the scenes out. So they're going to have to edit to take everything out. So really, they're going to have to do content. They're going to have to really come up with some real content. And I know that also TikTok is changing. TikTok claims, well, we'll see how the Philippines takes care of that, because on TikTok, you're not allowed to use green screens. There's a lot of things they're cutting out on it.
Starting to.
Right. So the same with the Philippines. When I watched that from Mike, and then a couple people contact us, are like, well, that's been in place. It's been in place. It was March that they put out. The privacy thing's been out for years, but they're wanting to add more to it. It wasn't a new law passed. And on the privacy situation, when they can enforce traffic here, when they can enforce, the support and other things that are going on in the government rules, then I probably will worry about it. But right now, the Philippine government, like other governments, they need to work on a couple things before they're hunting people down over, hey, there's a kid in your video, or there's a woman in your video.
Off, they can't really enforce it for a lot of reasons. One, most of these YouTubers are not registered.
Correct. They're just, they're saying they're out of the country, in the country, and there's no way
We're actually legit. We have a business, aka YouTube. We have the actual paperwork. We have everything. Yeah, but most of them are not. And what I'm saying is, so for instance, us, they can go after us because
you're registered.
We're legit. But here's the thing:
we're not talking about Google. We're not talking about people being with Google and they know where to send your money. No, with the Philippine government, if you're a YouTuber and you're living here as a permanent resident,
and like I said, even the
more than a few months,
YouTubers are not even registered. Yeah, this is a fact.
They're registered back in the UK, and they don't. Yeah, so
most of them are not registered.
So they're not going to be able to enforce that. But you should follow the laws. We would hope that people would start doing this, and I think that's their biggest thing, is that they're looking to.
I guess you can do a bouquet. I'm talking about the visual effect. You can do a bouquet.
Yeah, you're going to have to
hide everybody, but that's kind of weird.
That's their content, though. A lot of them are only showing what's going on as their content. Like, a lot of these guys are just walking through the street, and they're like, okay, well, there's this shop, and there's always people. The Filipinos are doing it, too. We're just not talking about expats. But anyways, James, where is Angeles City? It's in Pampanga. It's by the airport. So just Google map it. I mean, it's kind of an off question. Not too many people ask, but it's in the Philippines, and it's really close to the airport. There's a
No, I think he's asking where in Angeles City.
Oh, where in Angeles City?
Yeah, it's in Marisol. Five Sisters. Again, you go to the entrance.
Oh, I thought where is. Sorry, I missed that. From a distance, thought that was is. Yeah. Sorry. The women will get you. I was robbed for my phone on a jeepney. That's another thing. It'll be petty crime. You'll be pickpocketing and all that. Here's the thing. I'm not about being out there all the time for all this to happen. I wasn't doing it in the U.S. I'm sure the hell not going to do it. These guys get off this plane and they lose their mind. It's like, they all over the place. And it's like, if you were just retired in the US, we talked about that. These guys wouldn't be up in jeepneys and buses. You guys really? Are you guys going to ride buses everywhere when you're in the United States? Probably not. You wouldn't dare sit around riding buses all day. And so I get that guys don't want to buy a car and this and that. And a lot of guys do have the money. You can take a Grab and a cab and some of these other things, but some of these guys get to be super, super cheap and they end up getting on these jeepneys and then things happen like that. Next thing you know, they got headlights, crabs, and the whole 9 yards.
Oh, speaking of Grab, I saw the Grab bike today.
Grab bike.
Yeah, you know. Okay.
Oh, where you talking about where they pick people up and give them a helmet and then they end up at a place?
The Grab bike. Okay, you guys know the Google car, right? The
Mhm.
Google car drives around and has a camera and then does the mapping of for Google, right?
Oh,
The Grab has a bike, motorcycle. So that way, when you order, it shows on the map and it shows on the pinpoint. Get it? So I saw the Grab bike today. It was a motorcycle with like the Google camera, but it's not really a camera. It's a GPS device that allows them to know where the Grab should go.
they are getting better over the last
Yeah.
couple years. Like most of the time, they couldn't find us. They got directions, and then recently, they asked. There's a box to give directions. So now that we have directions, some of them will say, "Hey, is that the right pinpoint?" A few times we answered yes. They've dropped our order before. They're like, "Well, it seems that you don't have the right pinpoint," and they actually canceled our order based on. So now we just say yes, the pinpoint is right. It's crazy because we were just trying to help them. I mean, it's the Philippines. There's no numbers on buildings. There's no nothing. And so it was weird. Remember, every time they asked us that, they were like, "Yeah, it doesn't look like you have the right address." I'm like, "It is the right address. We just, you gotta watch."
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, and don't forget to show your sign of support again. Give us a like, give us a thumbs up, share this video, and also to show your sign of support. Pop some popcorn, get your loved one, sit down on the couch and watch. Get your spouse or your partner and watch this great family film. It's called a Serbian film. Great family movie. Yes, definitely recommend it.
I hope you got some tricks up your sleeve today because I'm out there. Here, why don't you go through some of these? I'm tired of scrolling. My fingers are hurting.
Well,
Do
I
something.
got some tricks, like Red Street type tricks. But
No, you don't. If so, we would have more money.
oh, dang.
And so, like I said, we're Walmart money. So I ain't even kidding. And I'm okay with that. So go on. Hit it.
Speaking of which, actually, Heidi actually mentioned it earlier. The This is somewhat an issue. Hillbilly Paro says yes. My head hits the roof on jeepneys.
Okay.
I'm not saying their jeepneys are bad. I'm not saying that. Again, I don't have a problem with riding jeepneys. The problem with jeepneys is they're bad on your knees. Because you have to like. Not only do you have to duck down because you will hit the roof. Even Filipinos will hit the roof. Not only do you have to duck down, you have to get up within like it's about a good 2 feet off the ground. So you have to get up on the jeep and then like put your leg really high, and then you have to crouch down at the same time. And then same thing when you get off the jeep, you have to crouch down, do this duck walk.
Yeah, it's not
get
very
out.
good for the average expat
Right.
that's here.
Even when I ride a jeepney,
I ain't
okay,
about busting my neck.
I usually wait for a jeepney with an empty spot in the front seat because the driver's side. That way, I just pop in and just sit there. And here's another thing: if you're a germaphobe, first off, don't ride a jeep. Don't ride a jeepney. Second off, it's also customary with that when somebody pays. Let's say you're in the middle or in the front of the jeep. If somebody pays with their money, it's customary that you grab the money from the guy and hand it over to the jeepney driver. So what I'm saying is, if you're a germaphobe and you don't like passing around money back and forth, because for example, the guy in the back gives him 100 pesos, and the ride's only like 20 pesos. So that means not only do you have to like hand the 100 pesos to the driver,
And
you
at
have to
that
hand back the
point,
change
you got lice,
from the driver
crabs,
back
and
down
and
to the other.
monkeypox.
Yeah, so it's that's another thing. Lice. Yeah, I mean,
monkeypox.
I'm not saying don't ride a jeepney. I'm just saying.
And you may never get it at all. But
Yeah, I mean, have I ridden the jeepneys here and tricycles here? Oh yeah, I've been before the car. Yeah, of course, but it's not something I would recommend a foreigner because one, I grew up in it. So what I'm saying is, to me, it's more normal. But as a foreigner, not only is it alien, it's also very inconvenient. And if you can afford it, why would you?
it makes
what I'm
me
saying?
often wonder.
Why would you?
I mean, if you guys are coming here on that 1,000 peso and you're not with a retirement or pension and you guys are just making peanuts and you're scraping by, maybe. But I love the ones that say, "Well, why not? It's convenient and it's there." I'm like, bullshit, man. You're just being cheap, or you are broke, or crazy part is a lot of these
Well,
guys have the money. It's possible this couple had the money to go live somewhere
for
else,
example,
but it must be
let's
because of the
break this down.
family.
If I were to go, for example, from where we live to the mall, okay, I would have to ride a jeep. It would cost about 15 pesos from here to, because the jeepneys don't take you all the way. They don't. They have borders. They have limits. So you have to hop. It's like bus. It goes from one stop to another, and then you have to take another bus. So let's say I have to go to the mall. It would take three jeepney stops and one tricycle. Okay, three jeepney stops. Let's say they're 15 pesos each. That's 45 pesos. And then you take a tricycle. That's another 60 pesos. So that's already at 105 pesos, right? Um, that's one way. At 105 pesos, you can add 30 more pesos. You already have a Grab.
Right.
It's like, why would you?
Yeah, at this point with the rates going up on the Jeep.
The only time I would take a Jeep if I have to take a straightway. Like, let's say.
Hey, second win. Looks like you're in first place.
Yeah, let's say
Chosen one.
Yeah,
Sperlin
let's say
on
when
the
I go to
comments.
school, right? The school, the school's here. Okay, I would only have to pay 15 pesos to get to the school and back, so that's 30 pesos done. Okay, that makes sense. Take the Jeep, but on some routes or most routes, it's not
Hey,
worth it. It's
Cindy.
really not worth it. Jeepneys are only good for straightaways. You know what I'm saying? On the
Yeah.
route of the Jeep.
Black Grandpa says he's 6'4" and 265 pounds. I'm not riding on public transportation or a scooter. My back couldn't take it. No, I hear you. I'm not 6'4", but I'm definitely bigger than 265, and so I'm 5'10", 5'11". I think I'm actually shrinking. The whole point is I'm super tall and big, and I couldn't see it either. And it's some of the transport for us expats would be just uncomfortable.
Yeah. Coconut Guy says jeepneys aren't passenger friendly. Buttocks, back, and head always uncomfortable. So I just walk free and good extra. Yeah, for the most part, yeah. A lot of Filipinos walk if it's within walking distance, and walking distance means within eyesight. If you can see it, you can walk it. No, really, Filipinos usually do that.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
AI Coconut Guy.
Yeah.
He's he's the one that does the walkabouts here in the Philippines, in
Yeah.
Angel City. He's here in Angel.
Hey, AI. Cindy G says lots of lice. Lots of lice here. I worked in poverty schools in America, so lice jumps to everyone quickly. Nurse won't allow kids or teacher back until lice are gone. That's true. Thanks, George. You're welcome, Cindy. This is just a public service announcement. Yeah. No. Again, it's one of those
So
things.
yeah, AI Coconut Guy. The moment you become monetized, it would definitely possibly apply to you. Anybody in your videos, you're one of the walkabout people. That is your main content. He would be one affected if there's people as he goes by. But you know what? I don't think it's going to be as dramatic as what's being put out there, because I believe the people would have to see themselves in your video. There's not going to be government officials watching these videos and say, hey, that's an actual violation. Because they don't do that with all their other laws. They don't even. So anyways, I'm just giving an example of a channel. Not that you're.
Yeah. Hillbilly Faro says it can wear you in one trip. 2, the mall is one trike, then a bus, and then a city bus, then a cab. jeepney, etc. So, no, that's what I'm saying. But and again, if you do the math, you might as well just take in a grab, get a cab. But
And it's not even worth, like, you should be budgeting money aside anyways. You know, we're not sitting here with 5,000 pesos, 5,000 US a month, or, you know, all of this other stuff. And even on our income, and we're not even middle notch with some of these expats with money coming in. We still take the grabs when we go places. We still, you know, George's family gave the car a while back and we put gas in it. But I couldn't imagine when we just had the transport that I would go doing the walking and go up there and grab a jeepney or a trike or something. And that's another thing. Then you're just standing around in the heat, and then you just take too much risk. And I think that's what I wanted to get around to is people take too much extra risk, and you guys aren't even in your own country. You lose all kinds of leverage here when you're dealing with this. For example, this other guy, yes, did he have to take a trike, the American I talked about, that's swinging at people with his backpack and he's all crazy? Well, because of that, he could have got arrested. Why? Did you not take a grab? Looks like he was somewhere, I don't know. I'll have to try to figure out where the guy was. But it's possible that he could have taken some other transport, but he decided to go with what he thought was the cheapest, and it caused an issue. And then you're just risking all kinds of things, and you're not in your home country. So if he'd have called them a bunch of names and everything else, then they could have filed a case against them. And if you're back in America, a lot of that wouldn't even have applied. So he just would have had his car to go. So things change when you come to these countries.
no, it does. Yeah.
And a lot of people don't calculate. You don't see that on, you do not get that information when you're watching a lot of these channels. A lot of them are fluff stuff. A lot of them are, you know, like to feed you their sexy woman, or it's to feed you in between stuff on some of the rules here. But, you know, I like it when it actually applies and everything. It's, you know.
Yeah. Talking about not seeing it coming, Black Grandpa says, I once saw a Filipina's breast pop out of her top when she stepped into a jeepney on a video, and she didn't realize it. No, I told her, yeah, no, because you ducked down really hard. So yeah, I mean, your man boob could pop out, you know,
Yeah,
like
could
just
be.
show and shock everybody. Somebody might be sucking on your man boob at the jeepney for all you know.
I don't know where that was coming from, but
No, I mean I'm not, but this is not a joke, really. If you're a woman, it's customary. If you're a woman, aka, you know, if those expat women out there, when you take a jeepney, it's customary for women to put their hand like this when they board and get off a jeepney. Just so you guys know, and for obvious reasons, and this is the reason. Actually, I didn't think about that because again, one, I don't look, and two, I stopped riding a jeep a long time ago. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's customary if you're a woman and you're here in the Philippines visiting, put your hand up like this, and then when you board, that controls everything. And when you disembark, same thing. Put your hand
oh,
right
yeah,
here.
yeah.
Yeah. The ones that don't, they risk that happening. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Chosen one says, I'm bald. No lice for me. Gross. Right?
I mentioned crabs too, man.
Yeah, I was gonna say the different kind of lice.
They could be living in the hair inside your ears,
What? Oh my gosh, that is gross.
or up the crack rack.
Wow. It might as well live inside your nose too,
Could be.
right?
Get inside my rack. Get inside my crack.
What?
I got crabs for
That-
days.
That's messed up. That's really messed up.
'Cause I got on a jeepney yesterday. That's starting to run.
Right.
Do an opera here. No opera from you? No. Yes, it is. You do it.
I can't do that.
Just
I
come
can't,
on.
I can't
High
sing.
pitch. Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Yes, it is. I really can't do
And
it.
then I got off the jeepney and my man boob fell out. Yes, it did.
Right?
No.
That
You're-
moves. They're called moves.
You missed your cue there.
Oh yeah?
We were still doing opera.
Oh. Yes, it is.
No, yes, it did.
Oh. Yes, it did. Sorry.
Do it at a low pitch.
Yes, it did.
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 Can I get another look at that man boob? Yes, you can.
Mamma mia, mamma mia.
We're not doing Mamma Mia right now.
Oh,
You
sorry.
can watch that later and have your glass of wine and sit in the recliner and chill later. But not right now. Leave Mamma Mia
Yeah.
out of it.
Ugly Tourist says that's why I come here to hear the hard truth about age gap relationships.
I don't know how you guys deal with these other channels. I'm just gonna put it out there. Shoot, I mentioned the other day. A lot of people, all you do is drama. It's like, bitch, this is not Disney Plus. This is Drama Plus, and I definitely ain't getting paid a lot of money. It's like everything goes back into the cats. We do this for free. We're so ingrained in us doing live streams 3 times a week. But I'm like, sometimes I look at these other channels and other social. I'm like, who the hell watches this? How the hell can they watch it? I guess they just get used to. Who the hell may not even want to watch us? People like, oh God, I can't watch Heidi and George. But people get some truths now, or they get, it's from 2 different angles, and you're not shying away from giving me nasty looks, or vice versa, or me blowing up, or you talking about, Americans or Filipinos. It's just like, I don't get it. But if you guys learn anything or catch anything, I don't know. There's a lot going on. But back to the couple. What's wrong?
Oh, nothing. Yeah.
Oh, so anyways.
Yeah, you know what really grinds my gears? These AI channels.
There's a lot of them. Well, how about the new ones that the one I sent you? I showed you some of the new AI ones, and I just seen one where now it is strictly AI. Like they got the Sasquatch one, they've got the monkey one, and they were cute for about 3-4 days to a week because they got flooded with 50 other channels doing the exact same Sasquatch, and they're putting in the stuff. And here's the thing: in another 2 years, I bet half of YouTube is those channels. People won't even with them making more and more restrictions. It's to allow AI to come through. They'll be doing. I'm just telling you, it's just where it's coming through, and they're using more and more AI. Period, to enhance the videos. There's about 10 new features on the editing software right now that offers AI stuff to be thrown on it. They're prepping us, guys. There's no doubt the enhancements in the AI chat bots and all the things they're offering you, they're getting more and more friendly. They're getting more and more real and personal. They answer more and more questions. And this has improved in the last 2 or 3 months. They're just prepping us for the future. But
Victoria says, if you put Vaseline in your head and when it jitneys, I wonder if you get out lots of them in your head.
So you'd be like a sticky trap.
Right. Well, actually, lice don't like dirty hair. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it'd work the opposite. Yeah. Matter of fact, ethnic hair with the extra oils are usually the last people that get it. I mean, that was taught in cosmetology school and just from friends. Usually they never had any cases. Can they? Yes. The answer is yes, depending on what's in their hair, how dry it is, or not saying it can't happen, but mostly yes. The hair that is processed with the oils and stuff, whether it's you not showering your hair for a week, those are usually the ones that, avoided.
Yeah, the nappy hair, yeah. The dirty hair, yeah. They don't get it. Kind of weird like that.
You ain't allowed to use the word nappy.
What?
Unless you're talking about the diaper that you're going to start wearing in about 5 years. Are you through it?
Yeah. Yeah, when I first arrived in the US, I had an African American friend, and I told her, I said, the Iga please. That's what I said, right? And then she looked at me and she like had this angry look at me. Says, George, you're not allowed to say that. I said I'm not. Okay, sorry.
I guess that's kind of me doing the Chinese thing.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I didn't mean bad by it, of course, but
Yeah. All right, guys. I think we're going to wrap up because we got a bunch of things to do. We just want to bring you the coverage of the very sad,
say your goodbyes,
tragic,
guys.
yeah, situation of the 81-year-old American and his wife that was 65 in Ormoc City. As a wrap up,
Yeah.
that he ended up, they were both Walmart employees. They retired to the Philippines. It looks like a bunch of people knew that they had just went shopping the day before, picked up money at the bank, brought in the money. They were robbed and unalived very brutally this way, and punctured several times. And now there's rewards out by some of the other family members. The guy had a brother here. The American did. Their sister, the wife had a sister and family member that arrived. It looks like more things were going on. They even said one of them had their pants down around their ankle. There was clothes outside with blood. I don't know what's with all that. There's so much going on in this story, but I don't feel that it puts other expats in danger. I think it's an inside job because there's too much information and they were too brutally taken out.
TMI. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and it was over money. So, you just want to keep it down on, letting the world know around you what you have when you go. I wouldn't be telling even family, hey, I'm going this, and that, unless you trust them with your life. But evidently she might have. The sister might have. I know expats here, the guys tend to be super like secretive. You know how like men really don't give details. But like me, I'm always like this and stuff. So us women tend to chismis. And she went, I know that the sister knew this was all going on. Knew that they had been to the bank, knew about the social securities, knew everything. And they talked the night before about her, the sister, getting medicine. It sounded like the sister and the nephew knew a lot of stuff. And so, like all the personal stuff, like, where their personal papers and jewelry was, knew that stuff was locked in a lockbox somewhere. And so it just seemed like, these are some mistakes that may seem okay in the United
it was
States.
too specific.
But here you have to really take caution because a lot of desperation and poor people and people just being bad people has led to something like this. And I think it's because, people make really bad decisions. At that moment, whoever did that felt that it was the right thing and they went off the chain. And so just, try to think before you do things. Thank you so much to Chosen One and
Thanks
Laura
so
so much
Yeah, Laura.
for adding to the birthday funds. If you guys aren't subscribed, please subscribe. It helps the channel
Subscribe.
grow in the comments. And we appreciate everybody.
And Haber, thank you so much, Haber.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks so much. Bye, Cindy G. Slick says, see you later. Victor says, have a good day, good night. Night, everyone. Stay safe. Second one, bye-bye.
All right, guys. We will talk to you later.
Bye, guys. Love you all.